You know how some days just drift by soft and quiet, hardly making a ripple. Then, bam, other days hit differently, shaking things up not by what you see, but by a powerful current flowing deep down. That date, June 30, 2025, it's way more than a mark on your planner. It's a turning point, set to show who's truly tuned in versus who's just coasting, who's consciously on their journey versus who's lost in the shuffle. When the divine declared, everything transforms on June 30, it wasn't for show. It wasn't about making you anxious or hyped up. It was a profound, quiet signal meant only for you if you've nurtured that deep inner quiet needed to catch it. The world screams for your attention. Every single day you're hit with a barrage of opinions, ideas on who you must become, what terrifies you, what you ought to pursue. This outer reality tugs you every which way, pulling your focus from the single path that truly counts, the one unfolding inside you. So many people are chasing after big signs. They're anticipating something huge, something unmistakable, something that screams. Yet, the Creator sometimes moves in the space between your own thoughts. Spirit often communicates when all else goes silent. That subtle hum before the tempest isn't a threat, it's a gift. But only you, if you've trained your senses, your spirit, and your intuition to pick up on truth's frequency, will grasp what's being presented. A whisper isn't processed by your ears, your awareness feels it. To truly hear, you need to clear out the mental clutter, the dread, the self-importance, the constant wanting. The main reason most individuals won't get the depth of June 30 is they're too caught up seeking what they prefer to hear, instead of readying themselves for what's genuinely real. Listen, when your mind is crammed with biases, you can't absorb true insight. When you're bursting with expectations, you'll miss the completely unexpected. This is precisely why masters, guides, and spiritual warriors immerse themselves in stillness. They understand that only in that receptive quiet can divine understanding flood in. A specific kind of readiness must happen in that silent space. Just like a plant gathers strength through winter for its spring bloom, your own spirit has to prepare in quiet for that breakthrough moment. Many assume change strikes like a flash of lightning, but genuine transformation, the kind that reshapes your very soul, starts way before any outward signs appear. It kicks off when you begin to notice those tiny nudges from within, when your daily routines start to evolve, when your thinking gets sharper, when you opt for peace over arguments, self-control over ease, mindfulness over constant interruption. These aren't just random occurrences, they are indicators that your inner world is starting to resonate with a more profound summons. And what exactly is that summons? It's the gentle voice of your true calling, the one guiding you: get ready, get aligned, purify. It's not yelling, because yelling is for the unprepared. Subtle cues are for those who are ready. When a dedicated martial artist trains, they aren't looking for applause or notice. They are silently preparing for a challenge no one else even sees coming. The same holds for your spiritual journey. You are being conditioned for a major shift. And this shift won't be announced with blaring news alerts. It won't plead for your attention. It won't require your approval. It will just happen. And when it does, it won't favor the boisterous or the arrogant. It will lift up those who are prepared. Imagine a musician who has practiced for countless years, honing their craft daily in solitude. The instant they walk on stage, people call it talent. But what goes unseen are those long years of quiet dedication. This is equally true for your soul. When that June 30 date rolls around, the world will glance about and question why some individuals seem to rise with such clarity, serenity, and inner power, while others spiral into confusion, panic, and distress. The explanation is straightforward. Those who caught the quiet signal before the upheaval were already living their truth. They didn't need the world to jolt them awake. They were already conscious. Society often demands proof before it will believe. But your spiritual development isn't about passively waiting, it's about actively becoming. If you're constantly looking for external signs, you'll never embody the sign yourself. The Creator doesn't send you a message so you can just sit back. You receive a message to inspire you to stand up, to take action, to shed false personas, empty attachments, and misguided ambitions. The quiet hum before the storm is a divine kindness. It's your chance to get ready before the transformation becomes obvious. You don't need the sky to collapse to start believing. You just need to feel that deep pull in your spirit and follow its lead. This is why stillness is so precious, not merely because it's peaceful, but because it lets you hear what the normal senses miss. Certain insights can only be received by a tranquil heart. And so, you must train yourself not in how loudly you can project, but in how profoundly you can listen. You have to ask, when the world makes noise, do you just react, or do you pause and reflect? When unease surfaces, do you flee, or do you focus on your breath? When everyone rushes one way, do you just go along, or do you stop and question why? Those who've heard that inner signal understand that life isn't about knee-jerk reactions, it's about thoughtful responses. But you can't respond with wisdom if you haven't first practiced in stillness. Many exist in a state of constant reactivity. Their feelings dictate their actions, their anxieties obscure their vision, their dependencies bind them, and when major change hits, they're thrown into chaos. They'll ask, "Why didn't anyone warn me this was on its way?" But the reality is, the divine did communicate, it spoke softly, and they were too caught up to hear. Discipline is the act of sharpening your awareness. It's not about self-punishment, it's about achieving clarity. The reason a fighter trains relentlessly isn't because a fight is certain, but because readiness itself is a way of living. If you delay preparing your spirit until the world is breaking apart, you've delayed too long. Your preparation starts right now in how you begin your day, how you interact with people, how you use your hours, how you select your thoughts. These actions might seem minor, but they are the foundational elements of your inner sanctuary. And when the gales of change arrive, only sanctuaries built on solid truth will remain standing. The quiet hum before the storm also evaluates your humility. Many individuals think they're prepared because they possess information, but information without application is just a form of pride. You might know many spiritual concepts, but are you living them? You might talk about insight, but do you operate with true integrity? The signal isn't for your intellect, it's for your spirit. And your spirit only accepts what it's humble enough to integrate. You have to let go of the urge to be noticed, the desire to always be correct, the hunger for approval. All these create internal noise, and that noise blocks out truth. When June 23 comes, the world will witness what's been concealed. But those who've disciplined themselves in stillness won't be caught off guard. They won't descend into panic. They will simply breathe and keep moving forward. Why? Because their path isn't dictated by external cues, but by internal harmony. Their resilience doesn't stem from knowing all outcomes, but from consistent practice. Their tranquility doesn't come from a lack of challenges, but from a strong sense of purpose. And this is what that subtle signal has always been about: your purpose. The divine doesn't call you for amusement, it calls you to elevate. But elevation means you must release whatever no longer helps you grow. Many are asking for transformation while still holding on to the old. They desire a breakthrough but are unwilling to sacrifice comfort. You cannot ascend if you're tethered to what pulls you down. The signal invites you to let go, release the anxiety, the regret, the embarrassment, the old narrative. Only then can you become light enough to truly rise. So listen not just with your physical ears but with your entire being. See not just with your physical eyes but with your inner knowing. Move not by external appearances but by internal alignment. If you sense that pull within, that feeling that something profound is shifting, that something is about to be unveiled, do not dismiss it. Do not put it off. Start now. Come back to your breath. Come back to your discipline. Come back to your truth. The quiet hum before the storm isn't an external thing you pursue, it's an internal state you become. And those who embody it won't dread the storm. They will navigate through it as if it were a mild breeze, because they're already propelled by a mightier force, the force of the divine. Genuine readiness doesn't start when the world spots the danger. It starts when your soul perceives the shift, and what the untrained perception misses, the prepared spirit has already registered. There's a vast difference between reacting to circumstances and aligning with life's flow. When you live in reaction, you're always a step behind, constantly seeking stability, always thrown off when change occurs. But when you live in alignment, you're never truly surprised. You might not have all the details, but you've already been alerted through your intuition, through your dreams, through a deep inner knowing. That restlessness you've been experiencing, that sense that something significant is approaching, something huge, something beyond your direct influence, that's not just worry, that is your preparation. That is your spirit whispering, it's time to get focused. What unfolds on June 30th, 2025 isn't some random occurrence, it's a convergence, a culmination of energies, outcomes, truths, and disclosures that have been gathering for a long time. The world might react as if it's sudden, but the insightful know this transformation has been underway for ages. Spiritual principles are never late. Every decision made, every intention held, every repeated behavior has been noted. The universe has never been indifferent. You might not have observed the balancing act, but it has always been happening. And the scales tip on these pivotal days, not because the Creator desires to inflict hardship, but because universal laws must be honored. What you sow you reap, what you permit you become, what you prepare for you endure. Preparation isn't a one-time thing, it's a way of life. The individuals who are spiritually resilient on June 30 won't be those who just wake up that day and suddenly try to change. It will be those who've been walking the long, often unseen road of inner development, those who've been managing their thoughts when nobody was looking, those who showed kindness even when faced with harshness, those who kept their inner light burning when darkness seemed easier. These are the souls who've been getting ready not from fear, but from knowing. They knew that when the winds change direction, your feet must already be firmly planted. You can't be figuring out how to stand when the storm is already raging. You must already be anchored. And how do you get ready? Not by accumulating possessions, but by releasing attachments. Not by erecting outer defenses, but by fortifying your inner strength. Many are caught in a collective rush. They amass riches, connections, titles, awards. But what is the genuine worth of these things? When the planet's frequency elevates, what will you do with your accolades if your own spirit feels weighed down? You cannot escape spiritual gravity. When the earth shifts to a higher state, only those with light hearts will ascend with it. You must release bitterness, let go of resentment, heal old wounds. This is your preparation, this is your cleansing. Because when the energetic curtain lifts, and it certainly will, everything concealed will be brought into view. You cannot fake inner peace. You cannot fake self-discipline. You cannot pretend to be aligned. On that day, your energy will communicate more powerfully than your words. The world will react. It consistently does. It reacts to big news. It reacts to crisis. It reacts to fear. But the spirit doesn't just react. The spirit prepares. The spirit comprehends that timing isn't set by a clock, but by resonance. When the divine signaled that everything changes, it wasn't about your daily planner. It was about your soul's unique schedule. There are chapters in your life you don't pick, they pick you. And this coming chapter isn't for wishful thinking, it's for decisive action. It's not for the mind that just dreams, it's for the soul that truly moves. You need to ask yourself, am I still making justifications? Am I still awaiting approval? Am I still resisting what's true? Because the period for questioning is over, the period for action is here. Preparation manifests differently for each person. For some, it will mean finally prioritizing stillness over constant stimulation. For others, it will involve confronting pain they've long suppressed. For some, it's about severing ties with what's been depleting their vitality. For others, it's about extending forgiveness for what felt unforgivable. These are not trivial actions. These are internal revolutions. These are the steps that construct the kind of inner fortitude that doesn't crumble when the outer world starts to transform, and it will transform. Not to frighten you, not to shatter you, but to reveal your true self. Because everything hidden will come to light. And when that unveiling occurs, you'll observe two kinds of people, those utterly unnerved by the truth and those who have trained in truth. When a plant begins to grow, it doesn't beg for sunshine, it trusts that its development is a natural part of the cycle. It doesn't fight the soil, it accepts the darkness knowing the light will follow. Similarly, your own preparation has been occurring quietly. Perhaps you haven't been able to articulate why you felt a shift. Maybe your habits have been subtly changing. Maybe you've lost interest in superficial chatter. Maybe you've pulled back from drama, noise, and negativity. This isn't by chance, this is spiritual alignment. This is the deeper aspect of you responding to the imminent change. It's as if your soul is already getting ready for a journey your mind doesn't fully grasp yet. That's perfectly fine. Let your soul take the lead, let your mind learn to follow. Many will attempt to prepare at the very last minute. They'll scramble to absorb teachings, rush to mend broken patterns, hurry to feel secure. But you cannot fast-track alignment. You cannot instantly achieve mastery. You cannot simply download discipline. These qualities are forged through consistent effort over time. And if you've already begun this path, even if you feel you're far from perfect, know this: you are ahead of the approaching wave. Keep moving forward. Keep building, because the energy of the new reality cannot be carried by a self that resists evolution. The shift isn't concerned with who you pretend to be, it's only interested in who you genuinely are, and that truth is either liberated or it remains confined. The preparation is the act of setting that truth free. Every true warrior hones their skills long before any conflict, not driven by fear, but by honor. The spiritual warrior doesn't wait for external signals to get serious. They are always prepared, not because they seek confrontation, but because genuine peace demands inner strength. On June 23, the balance of strength and peace will face a test. Those lacking inner peace will feel overwhelmed by the energy. Those lacking strength will feel paralyzed by the rapid pace of change. And so, you must train right now. Train your thoughts to embrace stillness. Train your emotions to respond with composure. Train your body to uphold discipline. Train your spirit to trust what is unseen. Release the notion that you have plenty of time. Time isn't guaranteed, but presence is always accessible. And in presence, all things become attainable. Your future isn't waiting for you to just wish for it, it's waiting for you to act. You don't need to be flawless, you only need to be fully present. And from that state of presence, you must build. Cultivate habits that nurture your energy, establish boundaries that safeguard your peace, create rituals that awaken your awareness. These are the very building blocks of the foundation you will stand upon when everything starts to shift. And what about those who disregard the call? What about those who ridicule the subtle signal, who claim nothing will occur, it's just another ordinary day? These are the individuals who will be most taken aback, not because they lacked warning, but because they chose not to listen. Denial doesn't shield you from reality, it only postpones your readiness. And when truth arrives, it doesn't inquire if you're prepared, it simply reveals itself. If you have trained, you will recognize it as a guide. If you have not, you will perceive it as a danger. This isn't a judgment from the divine, it's the outcome of your own resistance. So prepare not with fear, but with deep respect. Prepare not because calamity is imminent, but because an awakening is approaching. Prepare not for the world's reaction, but for your soul's expansion. There is a certain beauty that emerges when you are truly ready. There is a power that ignites when you align. There is a peace that settles in when you let go. And this peace isn't discovered in the external noise, it is found in your consistent practice, in your breath, in your stillness, in your silence. Don't look to the outer world for signs of security. True safety isn't out there, it's within your inner world. It's in how you meet chaos. It's in how you deal with others when no one is observing. It's in the choices you make when it would be simpler to stay unaware. Every step you take today shapes your response to tomorrow's challenge. Every moment you choose to embrace discipline readies you to rise in energy. Every time you decline what depletes you, you affirm what prepares you. There are two ways to encounter June 30th, with shock or with certainty. The first path leads to confusion, the second leads to clarity, and clarity doesn't originate from predicting the future, it originates from preparing your presence. The energy of that specific day is already drawing near. The current is intensifying. You might not perceive it with your physical eyes, but your spirit can sense it. Honor that sensation. Do not try to suppress it. Do not distract yourself from it. Allow it to guide you to your inner training. Let it draw you deeper into your practice. Let it serve as a reminder. What you cultivate in silence is never in vain. It is accumulated, it is registered, it is amplified. And when the world starts to tremble, you will remain steady. Because you weren't waiting for the world to inform you of what was coming, you had already begun. You weren't reacting, you were ready. You weren't searching for safety, you were standing firmly within it. There's a profound misconception in today's world about how real transformation unfolds. Many think that merely wanting change is sufficient, that setting intentions is enough, that declaring ambitions, writing them down, repeating affirmations, that all this somehow compels the universe to act. But sacred principles don't yield to intention alone, they respond to alignment. Energy doesn't follow what you wish for, it follows who you are at your core. When the divine indicated everything shifts on June 30, 2025, it wasn't a message for those who just hope. It was a signal for those who have harmonized themselves with truth. In thought, in word, and in deed. The error many make is thinking that clarity of desire equates to readiness of being. But the universe, the sacred, the flow of life, it listens not to your superficial wants, but to the vibration you actually emit. You can desire peace yet exist in turmoil. You can wish for abundance yet operate from fear. You can want transformation but resist self-discipline. This is the fundamental disconnect. This is why the Creator's quiet guidance is only perceived by those whose daily habits, internal conversations, and unspoken intentions are tuned to a single, coherent frequency. That frequency isn't found in thinking alone, it's uncovered through genuine alignment. Alignment isn't about pretending. It's not about trying to appear spiritual. It's not about external practices you perform for others to witness. True alignment is unseen by the world but absolutely clear to the universe. You cannot deceive energy. You cannot fake resonance. You either vibrate at the level of truth or you don't. And when that energetic gateway opens on June 30, 2025, it won't consider what you aim to become. It will only magnify what you already are. That is the great spiritual reality. Energy amplifies alignment, not just words. Your personal energy field will be the critical factor. The quality of your inner existence will be the true measure. This is why preparation isn't about talking more, it's about becoming more. If you claim to want peace but consistently choose conflict, you are out of sync. If you declare you are ready for prosperity but live with a mindset of lack, you are out of sync. If you call yourself a beacon of light but engage in gossip, complaining, and holding grudges, you are out of sync. These are not minor issues, these are spiritual incongruities. And when divine energy suffuses the planet, it seeks coherence. It uplifts those who are whole. It advances those who are authentic, not flawless but authentic. The world often applauds the loud, the driven, the polished exterior. but the divine elevates the sincere, the aligned, the quietly disciplined. A sacred formula is at play here. Thought plus word plus action equals your vibration. If your thoughts are firm, I trust, but your words express doubt and your actions show hesitation, your vibration is one of confusion. If your thoughts declare, I am prepared, but your words are defensive and your actions are reactive, your vibration is one of dissonance. And regardless of how frequently you state your intentions, no matter how elegantly you record them, if your very being is fragmented, your energy will stay out of tune with the approaching shift. And when energy doesn't match the prevailing current, it gets left behind. The planet isn't just changing on an intellectual level, it is rising vibrationally. The transformations ahead are not designed to benefit the merely clever, they will benefit the truly aligned. This is why so many individuals who appear prepared on the surface will find themselves struggling, while those who have quietly undertaken the inner work will rise with effortless grace. There's a velocity to spiritual energy that only a tranquil heart can manage. There is a frequency so elevated that only the humble can truly connect with it. And on June 23, when this frequency intensifies, your level of alignment won't be something you can adjust or manage. It will be fully revealed. Many will experience this as immense pressure. They will feel exposed. Because when the vibration of truth ascends, anything false is compelled to surface. This is the divine challenge. And it's not judged on performance but on purity. It won't inquire how many books you consumed, it will ask, did you integrate what you learned? It won't ask how many followers you attracted, it will ask, how many times did you remain true to your principles when no one was looking? It won't ask how loud your voice was, it will ask, how still was your mind? Alignment is subtle, but its impact is monumental. 3 pillars support true alignment: integrity, discipline, and surrender. Integrity means you live by your truth even when it's uncomfortable. You decline what betrays your soul, even if it might please others. You honor your commitments not just to others, but crucially to yourself. Discipline means you do what is necessary, not just what feels pleasant in the moment. You get up early when your body craves more sleep. You breathe through anger instead of lashing out. You consistently train your emotions, your focus, and your energy. And surrender means you relinquish control, not from a place of weakness, but from profound trust. You cease trying to force outcomes. You stop imposing your own timing. You harmonize with the divine current and move with it, even when it doesn't make logical sense to your mind. Most people try to manipulate energy. They attempt to hustle their way into elevated states. But force invariably generates friction. Flow cultivates harmony. You must learn to become the conduit through which energy flows unimpeded. You must clear out obstructions: ego, fear, resentment, comparison, impatience. These things constrict your vibrational frequency, and when the world's frequency shifts, constricted energy cannot hold. But when you are in alignment, you are like a perfectly tuned instrument, free of self-importance, pure in your intention, and ready to be played by the breath of the divine. A sacred rhythm is unfolding, and just as a flower blooms in its designated season, so too does your soul. But you cannot accelerate your blooming, you must diligently water your roots. Your roots are your discipline. Your roots are your moments of silence. Your roots are your choices made in unseen moments. What you do when no one is observing determines your readiness for when all eyes are upon you. And on June 30, the light will not only illuminate the earth, it will shine through you or expose what's within you. There will be no in-between. Energy does not accommodate half-truths. It either flows through clarity or halts at distortion. That is why this very moment, this now, is your essential training ground. Not tomorrow, not when you think you're ready. Now, because the principle is clear, you rise to the level of your alignment, not your aspirations. You receive in proportion to your preparation, not your mere declarations. And you will be assessed not by what you proclaim, but by who you have actually become. You must ask yourself, have I transformed into the kind of individual who can carry this next level of truth, power, and responsibility? Or am I still just hoping the external world will adjust while I stay unchanged? You are not waiting for energy. Energy is actively waiting for you. The divine current has always been present and flowing. The real question is, can you contain it? Are you a worthy vessel? Or are you still squandering your power through unconscious habits, scattered focus, and emotional reactivity? Your capacity to hold energy reflects your spiritual maturity. And spiritual maturity isn't about your age. It's about your awareness, about your accountability, about consistently choosing evolution over ego, even when it's difficult, especially when it's difficult. On June 30, the divine pulse will grow stronger. Some will ascend because their internal framework is solid. Others will falter because their foundation was built on illusion. You must construct your inner sanctuary now, not with physical materials, but with conscious breath, not with abstract theories, but with deliberate actions. You must cleanse the perceptions of your mind. You must purify the depths of your soul. You must open the gateways of your heart to allow light to enter. Because energy, sacred, divine, and undeniably real, does not flow into chaos, it flows into order. Not the order of rigid control, but the order of harmonious alignment. This alignment demands honesty, unflinching, compassionate honesty. You must examine your life and ask, where am I still out of sync with my truth? Where am I still pretending? Where am I still prioritizing comfort over genuine growth? The answers might not always be easy to face, but they will liberate you. You cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot align with what you resist confronting. But when you do, when you see yourself with clarity and love yourself enough to truly change, the universe itself shifts to support you. Not because it's rewarding you, but because you have finally become resonant with its inherent rhythm. And this is the ultimate key. Alignment isn't a state you achieve once, it's something you return to again and again. Each moment presents a chance to return. Each breath is a portal back to presence. Each choice is an opportunity to tune yourself like a fine instrument. And just like a stringed instrument, you don't tune it once and then forget. You must tune it daily with care, with attention, with mindful awareness. Because the music you create, the life you live, fundamentally depends on your tuning. When that sacred day dawns, the world will not transform you, it will simply reveal you. The influx of energy will not create your alignment, it will magnify it. And so the most vital work you can undertake is not to hope, not to fear, but to align. Not in theory, but in consistent practice. Not for external applause, but for inner truth. Not to impress others, but to express your authentic self. Not from anxiety about the future, but from deep reverence for the present moment. Because in the final analysis, it will not be your ambitions that carry you through the storm. It will be your groundedness. It will be your inner silence. It will be your unwavering alignment.